have learned how to, make friends in all different circles from all walks of life. And that's one thing that I'm proud of you about. And you're not afraid to speak up for yourself, which you should not be.
Hold up, did Riley really blow $14,000 in a single night? And not even with her own money, but on her mother's credit card? Yes, that's exactly what happened. And let's just say, her mom, Kandi Burruss, is far from happy about it. She didn't just shrug it off. She found out and was definitely not calm when the truth came out. So what actually went down that night? Was it just a case of a young woman having too much fun? Or is this part of a bigger problem with Riley's lifestyle in New York City? Because, let's be honest, this isn't the first time Riley's spending habits have raised eyebrows.
Ask about that $14,000 bill that's teased in the trailer.
So we get the bill, $14,000. Over. I'm calling your mother.
It better not be on the card I pay for.
If you've been watching Next Gen In, why see then you've seen how Riley's been living. It's all luxury clothes, fancy restaurants, and exclusive parties. But in this particular episode, things took a serious turn. Riley and her friends had a wild night out at a high-end nightclub, and by the time the night ended, the total bill hit $14,000. But when it came time to pay, it wasn't Riley's credit card being used, it was Kandi's. When Kandi found out, it wasn't just about the money. It was about trust. Riley didn't tell her mom about the charge. Kandi only discovered it after her credit card company flagged it.
I may be small, but my empire keeps on growing.
You can imagine the shock and the frustration. Let's rewind and take a closer look at how it all unfolded. Riley went out with her castmates from Next Gen NY, see for what was supposed to be a fun, glamorous evening. Everything was top-tier VIP service, bottle after bottle, fancy cocktails, and a table right by the DJ booth. They weren't holding back. From the outside, it looked like the typical lifestyle of a 22-year-old with access to fame and fortune. But here's where things went sideways. On the July 1st episode, Riley admitted on camera that she used her mom's credit card to pay for her share of the bill, roughly $7,000. The full total? $14,000. What was she buying? Multiple bottles of Don Julio.
It's Kandi Burruss, and people might remember me from Real Housewives of Atlanta as a kid.
I'm a TV person in Montana's on.
You saying you'd rather not talk to me and watch TV? Is that what you're trying to say to me?
No.
I just graduated a month ago from NYU with a major in music business. I really want to work in the music industry. I feel stressed and on a time crunch because my mom has given me 1 year before she cuts me off financially. It is big shoes to fill.
The pressure is definitely on. Me saying that in the most monotone
Literally, I was
voice
thinking
ever.
that. If you said like, the pressure is definitely on.
1,942, top shelf liquor, and premium seating. Basically, anything that screamed high status on the menu. Riley didn't even seem to think it was a big deal. In her words, she said the card was just there, and she didn't want to leave her portion unpaid. That alone was enough to stir up drama. Now, to be fair, she wasn't the only one spending money that night. Her friends pitched in, and they all shared the cost. But the issue wasn't how much they spent, it was how Riley paid for it without asking. That's what changed everything.
I mean, I think I have a lot of anxiety and also excitement about the entire series. There's a lot that goes on, a lot of dynamic shifting, and a lot of surprises, I feel like. But, everyone needs to tune in to see how it evolves.
The moment Kandi found out, she didn't explode with shouting. But her face said it all. She sat across from Riley, clearly upset, and without saying a word, she picked up a napkin and tossed it in her daughter's direction. Not in anger, but in that way moms do when they're beyond disappointed. Then, she finally spoke. "I'm paying for Don Julio bottles and $14,000 club bills? Girl, have you lost your mind?" Her tone was calm, but you could hear the disappointment in every word. This wasn't just about an expensive night out. It was about a boundary being crossed. Even though Kandi is successful and wealthy, that doesn't mean her money is up for grabs whenever Riley wants something. It's about teaching respect and responsibility, not spoiling her child without limits. And here's the thing, this wasn't the first red flag. Kandi has warned Riley before about careless spending. Throughout the season, you can hear her expressing concern about how Riley doesn't always seem to understand how money works or what it takes to build a successful life. She's mentioned that Riley seems too used to the perks of growing up with a famous mom and not focused enough on earning things for herself. So when this $14,000 incident happened, it was like all those little warnings finally reached a breaking point. Earlier in the show, Kandi gave Riley a serious deadline, 1 year. Within that time, Riley needed to either go to law school or get a proper job. After that, Kandi made it clear no more support. She wasn't saying it to be mean. She was trying to push her daughter to grow up and start standing on her own 2 feet. And yes, Riley does have her own income. She's landed deals with brands like Dark and Lovely and Makeup Forever. She's not broke. She has followers, partnerships, and opportunities that most young adults would dream of. But here's the catch. Just because you're making some money doesn't mean you know how to handle it. Spending $7,000 on one night, especially when it's not even your money, shows a lack of awareness. And Kandi knows that. That's why she's trying to set limits now, before Riley blows through everything she's been given. That's the million-dollar question. Riley has talked about going to law school. She's also said she wants to try dating. Other times, she seems more focused on the influencer path. But nothing seems locked in. 1 week it's about studying. The next, she's out clubbing. Then suddenly she's saying she might move into music. And this is exactly why Kandi's concerned. There's no clear direction. Riley is bouncing between different goals without sticking to one long enough to make it real. Meanwhile, she's living a very expensive lifestyle, and it's unclear how she plans to sustain it on her own. Now, the internet has a lot to say about this. Some folks are giving Riley a pass. They say she's only 22 and still figuring things out. They remind people that everyone makes dumb choices in their 20s. Moving to New York, meeting new people, and adjusting to adult life is a lot all at once. But others are not so forgiving. On Reddit and social media, people are calling her out for being out of touch. They say she's acting spoiled, entitled, and relying too much on her mom's fame and money. Some even joked that she's spending like she has Beyonce's bank account, but is living off TikTok deals. It's important to note, Riley has shown growth in other parts of the show. She's had some strong, mature moments. Like when a castmate called her scary and she confidently responded, "I'm not scary, I'm just direct." That wasn't a childish comeback, it was self-assured. And don't forget, Riley moved to Brooklyn on her own. Anyone who's ever paid rent in New York City knows that's no small thing. So while she's made some poor decisions, she's also taking steps to be independent. But then she spends thousands in a night using someone else's credit card, and that's what makes people question whether she's truly growing or just pretending. Life under the spotlight. You have to remember, Riley's not just a regular young adult. She grew up in front of cameras. From the Real Housewives of Atlanta to Next Gen, YC, her life has never really been private. And when your mom is a Grammy-winning singer, a successful entrepreneur, and a reality TV legend, the expectations are sky high. Then again, she's also shown interest in dating. That could be a smart move. It's creative, it's fun, and it doesn't depend on her being someone's daughter. If she invests in her craft and builds reputation, it might just work. And there's still law school. That's a whole different path. Long nights, hard exams, real dedication. But if she goes that route, it would prove she's thinking beyond fame and flash. It would show she wants to build something meaningful. At the end of the day, Riley's story isn't just about a night at the club. It's about what happens when a young woman is raised in wealth and fame and now has to face the real world. Is she just going through a typical phase? Or is she pushing past the line into reckless territory? One thing's clear, this wasn't just a financial mistake. It was a reality check. And now it's up to Riley to decide what comes next. Will she take control of her life or keep making choices that cause more drama? What do you think? Is Riley just a young adult figuring life out like the rest of us? Or did she go too far by swiping her mom's card without permission? Let us know in the comments below, because this story is far from over.